My name is Veronica Lopez. We'll be doing the Axial skeleton video. The first ones we're going to do the cranial bones. First one will be frontal bone, parietal bone, occipital bone, and then the external occipital protuberance, which is for attaching the ligaments that stabilize the vertebrae of the neck. Next will be the temporal bone. The external views are temporal mandibular joint, which is this here. The mastoid process, which is this here. The styloid process, which is this here. The external acoustic meatus, which is this here. And then the squamous part, which is this. Now we're going to the internal views. And that would be the petrous part of the temporal bone, which is this here. And that's the auditory ossicles of the structures of the inner ear are housed within that bone. The internal acoustic meatus, which is here, and that has the cranial nerves 4 and 5 pass through. 7 and 8 pass through that opening, sorry. Next would be the stephmoid bone, which is here. And then the superior orbital fissure, which cranials 4 and 5 pass through, which is here. Then the internal views of the stephmoid bone would be the lesser wing and the greater wing in here. And then the optic canal, which the optic nerves pass through, would be here. And the sella tunica, which the pituitary gland sits in the fossa, is here. Next we'll go to the ethmoid bone, which is here. And the internal views will be crystal galli, which secures the dura mater to the bone. Is this here. And the crispiform plate, which is the olfactory nerve, passes through the holes, which is here. And now for the sutures. You have the coronal suture, sagittal suture, squamous suture, it's not shown here, and the rhomboid suture. The rhomboid suture is where the parietal bones meet the occipital bone posteriorly. The sagittal sutures where the parietal bones meet superiorly at the cranial midline. The coronal suture is where the parietal bones meet the frontal bone. And the squamous suture, which where the parietal and the temporal bone meet on the lateral aspect of the skull. Now the facial bones, the maxilla, and the overall process would be maxilla. The nasal, psychomatic, ethmoid, vomer, inferior nasal concha, which is in here. Now for the mandible views. This is the mandible. This is the body of the mandible. The angle of the mandible. The ramus of the mandible. The mandible notch, mandibular condyle, and the coronoid process. Next will be the vertebral column. The cervical vertebrae are the first 7. Atlas is this one. Thoracic would be from the 8th to the 12th. And then you go to the lumbar vertebrae, which are the 5 fused. The sacrum, which are 5 vertebrae, are fused to form this body, and the coccyx. And then for the thoracic vertebra, the spinous process will be this. Transverse process will be this. The intervertebral disc will be right in the middle, and the intervertebral foramen will be the holes in there. Now for the sternum, this is the sternum. This is the manubrium body. Ethmoid process, and the jugular notch will be up here. Now the ribs. True ribs will be the first 7. And then the false ribs will be the 8 through 12.